The NFL Combines this week, and this Saturday we will get to see the running backs make their case on the 40-yard dash and other events with their numbers, with how they look on the field. This is their job interview. Today we're going to rank some more rookie running backs. Every week we're going to add 3 running backs to the pile, and we're going to re-rank our running backs for this rookie class. We have 8 running backs right now in the pile to rank. Next week, we'll have about 11 if the math's right, and we'll keep on adding running backs to this class at random throughout the draft season to keep things interesting. And every time I add a running back, I'm just going back over the tape. Every week, I'm going back over the tape of these players, making sure everything fits correctly, and then also the ranks are changing. You need to click that subscribe button because I'm going to keep you in tune when it comes to this rookie draft class. I'm going to get you ready for the rookie drafts. I'm going to help you build your dynasty teams, and it all starts right here. Click that button. Stop missing out. Stop missing the playoffs. Build your dynasty teams better. Get better right here. We're going to our first running back in this class. It's at random. We do things at random with these rankings, and I rank at random with these rankings. But the big thing here is just talking about these running backs, getting a good feel here. When you look at the left and you look at these tiers, you see A1 and A2. That's because we do not have a stud tier. We do not have a pair of stud running backs. The thing about this, last year, we're spoiled with Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson. That was a top tier running back class. We had a lot of good running backs. This isn't a bad running back class. People are going to say that. But we do not have the top end that we're used to. We have a lot of good running backs who, in the right fit, right scheme, right draft capital, is going to get people very excited. But we need the NFL draft to do so. We got to look at the traits. We got to look at the fits. This is a very fit draft class for these running backs. Draft capital matters, but you also want to look at the fit because they could be climbing the ranks on the depth chart in training camp, getting opportunities, and we know how the running back position works. It is an attrition game. It is a meat body game where these running backs take blows play after play after play. Running backs are in, running backs are out. You need to know these running backs. You need to know about them. But let's start with our first running back here, and I'm going to have these guys tiered off very close together. I'm already going to tell you that because these running backs all are good, but they all have that one red flag. They all have that one red flag to look at, and that's going to keep them from being fantasy relevant. But those traits that they have are enough to propel them to fantasy relevancy in the right situation, the right spot, or if they're just given an opportunity. First running back I'm looking at, and I want to talk about him right now, and that's Braelon Allen. Is that the ranking? I don't know. We'll talk about it. But Braelon Allen, everybody talks about him a lot, and a lot of people are down on him. 2023, look at that season, go look at the tape. The thing about that, it did not look that great. He did not look too promising. He did not look like he had good pop in the stat. Did you know he was playing injured? They also had a different offensive coordinator, different offensive scheme, so they were throwing the ball a little bit more. That impacted some of the touches, impacted the workload. Also allowed him to get more opportunity in the passing game. He upped his reception total by default that way, though. It's not like he got better. It's like he had to do it. He had to do it. And they wanted him to do it. They wanted him to get better. They wanted to push him there because they want that offense to direct that way. Braelon Allen, though, when I look at him, though, I want to look at his freshman tape and sophomore tape combined with what I saw this year. When I look at his freshman and sophomore tape, I see a running back with more pop. I see a running back that's more explosive. I see a running back that has a ton of upside. And I see a running back, especially during his freshman season, and I saw the masses talking about this as well, that he was a running back that was pushing to be a top-tier back. We had this 2023 season. Now people are down on him. We need him to get healthy. Also, we need him to have a good combine. We need him to post some good numbers. He's a big running back, but the red flags, the receiving production's not really there. I do not see him running out in the slot, running routes, getting targets that way, maybe dump offs, and we need receiving production for fantasy football. I could definitely see him getting a role on his NFL team, getting carries, getting goal line work, pounding the rock. I also need more out of him when it comes to power for his size. He's got power, he has that, but I need him to finish his runs a lot better. I need him to look like a 245, 240, 250 pound running back. We'll know more this week. We need more, Braelon Allen. We need more. We see the potential but we need more from you. If you put that together and you give us what we need, you're going to give us the production. But right now, we're going to put him here. To the next running back, and let's go with Bucky Irving. Let's go with Bucky Irving. When you watch the tape on him, one of the most slippery running backs in the class. Very good between the tackles. Very good at forcing missed tackles. He's got burst. He's got pop. He's a little bit light in the pants. The receiving production, though, you can put him out in the slot. You can put him outside. You can have him run routes. You can have him catch balls out in the flat. He can really win it all phases. I'm not going to have him be the running back on my team that gets all the workload. I don't want that. I want him to be part of a committee. But the thing when I say that, every running back, 99% of them, are going to be parts of a committee. Very few of them are going to be the lead guy. And you never want a running back to be the lead guy unless it's a spot start situation due to attrition. When I think about Bucky Irving, I think he's got a lot of potential for upside in fantasy football due to those traits. Those traits are huge. But also, when I think about him, I also need him to go to a team that's allowing him to get the workload, that's allowing him to get opportunity. I look at him as a running back that we're probably going to buy a lot of shares of in year 2. I look at that. I look at him at being a running back that we're going to catch at a good price tag in rookie drafts. I feel like there's a lot of upside here. I had him in the A1 tier last week. I also started him in the A2 tier and then bumped him up to the A1 tier. I don't know how to regard him due to the size factor, but I do like him a lot. I like his tape a lot. I like the functionality a lot. I'm going to keep him in A1. The fact that you're in A1 or A2 means I like you. It means that I'm looking at you because you're in an A tier. That's what that means. If you're in A2, it does not mean you're slept on at all because of how this class is sorted out. We got a lot of good running backs. They all have that one little thing on them that could allow them to not hit, and they all have these traits that could allow them to hit, and we're just waiting to see what happens. There are running backs that I like more than others, but that's why I'm saying words and not just posting this as a picture to you guys. Does that make sense? But we're moving on to another running back. We're moving on to another guy here. Who am I looking at? I am looking at Trey Benson. Put him up here for a second, and let's talk about Trey Benson. Trey Benson has the potential to be the best running back in this class, has the potential to be the bona fide RB1. We came into the season, we looked good. We had size, we had good pop, we had good burst, but we left a lot on the table. We left a lot on the table. We should have been a 1,000-yard rusher. This was a good Florida State team. We left a lot on the table when it came to missed opportunities, really extending out some plays. There are some plays in his game, his highlight package, his tape, that he's trying to stretch out the play, and he's not getting the edge. He's missing the hole, and he's got good vision from play to play, and just those down plays, they're just so impactful. And he's got upside due to the size of just athleticism, due to the pop in the step. But the thing about him, though, I don't know if the NFL likes him or not. He's got to do well at the Combine. The Combine's going to be a huge interview for him. Also, Trey Benson, I hope the NFL looks at your team like, hey, I like this, and they don't look at the sour part of the game, because that might push him to day 3. I got him right here, back into A2 tier. That's where I got him. I don't think I can put him to B tier. I think he's going to be getting opportunities. I think if you look at straight upside, he's up here. But the downside could kick him down to here range. So if you average it out, probably around A2. That's what I'm seeing. But we got to move on. And when we talk about the red flags of these running backs, some of these running backs are good, and that one red flag's like, ooh, that keeps you from being an S tier running back. That sure does. And this one running back could be an S tier guy. Because you look at advanced analytics from this year, you look at the tape, and you're like, I see that pop. I see the explosiveness. That dude's twitched up a little bit. Jonathan Brooks. Jonathan Brooks, come on down. The tape looks good. It's fantastic. He's got some good pop in the step. He's got everything you want in a running back. But then you come to him, you're like, ACL. Kind of want production year 1. I kind of want him to do something year 1. I kind of want him to be on the field back half the season, at least showing something. We know we're drafting him for year 2. We're also looking at this running back class and being like, hey, if this dude goes here, this dude goes here, and we're doing some running back math with the draft, and a lot of people got him at RB1, is he still going to be RB1 if this running back goes to the Cowboys, Tony Pollard's not getting tagged. That running back's going to be the RB1. We know the Cowboys need a running back for now since they're not tagging Pollard. Maybe comes back for a team deal. Probably not. They want cheap running backs. They got bit hard by Ezekiel Elliott. But if that happens, is that running back going to be the RB1? Thinking about this, thinking about Jonathan Brooks, I'm not moving him out the tier. Actually, I like him a lot, but I just had to talk about him. And I think there's a lot of upside here. I think I want him really bad for year 2. And I think he's up there with the RB1 debate for this year's class because we really don't have a clear-cut RB1. We just don't have that. You can say you have an RB1, but he's not a clear-cut RB1. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to be looking at this from a macro perspective. And these running backs, they're all about the fits. They're all about where they line up. They're all about who's in front of them and what they can do. Jonathan Brooks, good in the passing game. All-around jack-of-all-trades running back with a lot of pop and explosiveness in the step. I like him a lot. He's up there for me. Paying attention to you, dude. But we're moving on to the next running back here. And he was ranked last week. We're going over the running backs that we ranked prior. And if you were watching last week, you know who it is. It is Blake Corum. We're going to put the muscle hamster right here. Let's talk about some Blake Corum. I like him a lot. So the thing about Blake Corum and my fascination with him is as a prospect, evaluating him over the years. So it kind of went like him here, him down here. He's up here, and then he gets hurt, comes back this year. You kind of see the dip in production, but you see the offense kind of change a little bit. And then you go back, you look at the tape, you look at the whole profile, you look at Michigan, and you're like, yeah, he's climbing up here. And then from the macroeconomics of this class, you're like, yeah, this guy's in a good spot. Coming out this year was a blessing for him compared to coming out last year. Last year's running back class was so deep that running backs just fell spots. They fell deep into the draft. There was a lot of upside just going in day 3. This year's class is a little bit more shallow, especially at the top end. Teams who are wanting cheap running backs are going to pay a few extra picks just to get their guy, just so they're good at the running back position. Blake Corum can do everything. He's good at catching the ball in the backfield. He's not a twitched up pass catcher, but he's good at catching balls in the flat. He can run some routes. He's good between the tackles. He has some power. He's got good vision. He can do everything. He's a lunch pail running back. He's that guy you put back there. You know he's getting the job done. You know he's going to get you more than what's blocked for. You know he's going to learn the assignments. You know he's going to be putting in that effort in the offseason. He's jacked up. He's rocked up. And out of all these running backs who are going into the season healthy, I feel like upside-wise, potential draft capital-wise, he looks like the guy who's going to be winning out. So when I ranked him, I had him up here in Tier A, and it was just very easy to have him. But it's a battle between him and Jonathan Brooks. Like Jonathan Brooks, when I watch the tape, when I watch him, he's twitched up, he's explosive. I love the advanced analytics. Bijan Robinson was in front of him. That makes a ton of sense why we got a late breakout production. When I look at Blake Corum here, he pops on tape too. I can see how he can win. I can see why an NFL team would want him. You know what you're going to get out of him. You can plug and play with him. Week 1 of the NFL season, he's going to give you results. That being said, Blake Corum's probably going to get you some upside here. He's probably going to get the draft capital. These two guys, 1A, 1B for me, maybe they're their own tier. Maybe they are. Maybe I should make my other tier here. Maybe like this. Maybe it should be that for me. But I got some more running backs here. I got 3 new ones. I'm going to change this one real quick to A3. Because that's just how I'm looking at this. They're all A-tier backs in this class. That's what I'm looking at. We'll have other tiers, I promise you. Probably will. As we add more running backs to this class, I promise you I'm not being weird. But honestly, when I think about this running back class, Braelon Allen could be the top running back if he goes to the right situation. All the other running backs, they go to down situations. That could possibly happen. Trey Benson, same thing. Bucky Irving, definitely. But going back to this class, there are some other running backs we got to look at. And these other running backs did not get mentioned this week. And some of you guys mentioned in the comments like, oh man, they're sleeping on this running back. No, it's off of other rankings, or I forget how I did it. But I do not pick the running backs. I go off of what you guys say, what people say off Twitter, or if there's a hot name, I bring them in. So it could be a rando who's not getting drafted. I'll throw him into the rankings, and that's how we run this. That's just how we do it. And it could be like in Tier Z, and then I'm talking about Tier A players for the rest of the video. That being said, I did a video on this guy earlier today. I think that preamble to him is going to get you a little bit excited. I'm a little bit excited about him. Not a flag plant player. I'm not planting any flags with this class at wide receiver or running back. I just don't really do that anymore. I'm too old for that. And really, I'm a fan of everybody. I love all the players, and I get very excited. But Jaylen Wright, come on down. I'm putting you in A2, A1, A3, C. Where are you going to be at? But where he's going to be at in the final rankings matters when it comes to the combine and when it comes to the NFL draft. When it comes to the combine, he's got to post well, and I think he will. He ran in the 10s and the 100s in the high school days. We've seen him pulling away on tape. We're seeing him do that against top-tier Power 5 schools, 4-star, 5-star cornerbacks, pulling away from them in the open field. Top end speed is there. That gets me very excited. I hope he can hit that top end speed on a 40-yard dash. Maybe it takes 50 or 60 yards to get there, but that top end speed is there. Jaylen Wright has a lot of upside, and I'm letting you guys know right now that the market is going to go over the moon for him if he hits at the combine this week. We got 1,000 yards at the SEC level. We are productive. We have some good advanced analytics, over 40 yards after contact per attempt. The thing about him, he was not overly productive. He wasn't over the moon. The production wasn't like pushing 2,000 yards, 1,500 yards, or anything like that. Only 4 touchdowns last year. Not a lot in the receiving game. That's a big deal. The thing is, though, his size. He's over 200 pounds, listed at 210. Could be more, could be less. He's too sexy. That's his weight right now. We'll see at the combine. I do not look at listed weights and be like, that's it. I don't look at the combine weights and look at, that's it. I look at the tape and how they fit, because look at you after Thanksgiving. You gain 10 pounds. That's how these players do too. They gain weight, they lose weight. That's how the world works. Jaylen Wright, though, when you look at the tape, he does have some thickness. You see a hamstring hanging out there. He does got the thick with him, and he's got the speed. That gets you kind of excited. That being said, I think about him with Trey Benson. I look at the upside. I look at him playing the SEC competition. Gets me a little bit more excited. When I look at him versus Braelon Allen. Braelon Allen's a younger running back. Braelon Allen is also a big running back with power, but he doesn't have the pop like Jaylen Wright. That's the thing. That pop can allow you to be productive in fantasy. Also, coaches and personnel, they look at running backs. Those slow running backs who runs into 4.5s, 4.6s, even though they're productive and they look good, they look at that and they're like, man, what if I can get some upside with that? What if I can get a 4.4 running back paired with him? And next thing you know, carries are being siphoned away. If Jaylen Wright hits, you're not going to have to worry about that. I'm wondering if I should jack him to A2, if that's going to be too much, or if I should be in the front at just A3 and call it a day. I think A1's there because those are my top 2 running backs. It could be just my top 2 tier. It could be just that, but that could change by the end of the video or next week. Jaylen Wright, I'm talking about him a lot. I like him. I like him. Here and here's the same to me, honestly. Let's just move on to the next running back, and maybe we'll just shuffle the board all the way around once we're done anyways. Next running back, we're looking at Marshon Lloyd. Looked good at the Senior Bowl. Go back, look at the tape. He's got some pop in his step. Weighs over 200 pounds. We got a little thickness there. Enough to where we can hang at the NFL level. He's good between the tackles, like good enough. In the second level, you see the pop off his foot. You see the explosiveness. That lets me know there's upside here. And the thing about him is when I compare him to these other running backs, what I see is a running back that can compete around this tier. And the receiving production, the potential receiving production, could allow him to jump the rakes up in production. However, when I watch him play, I know it's tough with him and Trey Benson. Trey Benson's just thicker, more explosive. When I watch Braelon Allen, I can see where he can get more draft capital. I think Jaylen Wright's a hitter. I think he's going to be seeing value increase this weekend, and it's going to be screaming. I'm going to put him in the back of A3. If you're into A's, you're good. If you're into A's, you're doing kind of good there. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you're bad. It's not like you're being slept on. This is a weird running back class. So if I don't make the running back rankings weird, then I'm not doing my job because I'm dealing with weird players. If I keep it standard 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or basic tiers, then I'm really doing you a disservice because these guys are also weird. Moving my face over here so you can see the pretty face of Marshon Lloyd here. But we got another running back, and you guys said we were sleeping on him, but we're not really drafting off rankings or this is my rankings or whatever. This is just random players. This is very confusing because nobody else does this, but I do what I want. But come on down Audric Estime. Bam! Into the rankings. Just hang out there for a little bit. Audric Estime, very productive this year. Big, thick, bruising running back. Good between the tackles. You plug him in, and he's going to do the dirty work. You know he's going to get that 3-down workload to where he's grinding between the tackles, getting that short area touches, getting the goal line work, all that stuff. And he's got some upside. He's got some upside to where he can compete. When I think about tape and I'm looking at these running backs, I'm looking at upside here. Like, the red flags, the receiving production, pop off the step. It's not the same as like a Jaylen Wright, a Bucky Irving, a Blake Corum, or a Jonathan Brooks. But you adjust it for his size, he's really fitting in around here. The thing about Trey Benson and why he's different is like the downside on his tape and how I believe the NFL feels about him. Ranking him, though, he's a very safe prospect. I still got him in the A's. He belongs in the A's. I think there's upside for that. And I feel like right fit, right situation, right opportunity, he's up here. He can go up here. That's the story of the A tier. So right fit, right opportunity of this A3 tier, you're moving up drastically. Marshon Lloyd, Jaylen Wright, Braelon Allen. Bucky Irving's kind of by himself because of the receiving production. You can wheel him out as a wide receiver. The tape's good between the tackles for size. Missed tackles forced are there. Just all that upside, all that good things. Marshon Lloyd's there from the receiving production. Looking good at the Senior Bowl. Looking solid there. Good on tape. Pops on the step. Audric Estime. Right situation, right fit. He can be the grinder. He can get you some work between the tackles. We use him for a few years, and then we move on to our next running back. Kind of the same story as these guys, right? And this isn't really a ranking here. It's kind of like valued the same. Shuffle the board here. I can definitely see why Marshon Lloyd can be behind Benson, Braelon Allen, and Jaylen Wright. Maybe we do here. But honestly, the receiving production for fantasy can really boost him up. However, draft capital for Lloyd might put him down here. I don't see him going day 2. But right now, when we're looking at fits and everything, and I'm thinking about Marshon Lloyd, I'm going to keep him there for now, just to do it. Just to do it. But when I think about Audric Estime, let's go back to him because we're being kind of random right now. With that storyline I just said, he fits right in the A3. And I feel like right here, it's a different tier almost. With Marshon Lloyd, Benson, Allen. I feel like he's definitely ahead of Lloyd, but not too much. He's up there with Benson and Allen, which is not bad company, and I think Jaylen Wright's the upside guy of the tier. If the NFL hates Jaylen Wright, he's going down the hell. I don't think that's happening. I think they're going to like him. I think he's going to post well at the combine. I think Jaylen Wright is going to push here soon. He's going to push here and might push up here. Like, I think that's going to be very soon in my rankings. I don't know why I'm not doing that now. I think from when I watch tape and I see him play, I think he can push up here. I think with the draft capital, it could get him up here. I think there's a lot of good opportunities for that. I really want to know what you guys think about Jaylen Wright. I think Audric Estime, better receiving production, a better receiving profile would get him up around this range. I think Trey Benson, if he didn't have the flaws on the tape, that would get him up here. I think Marshon Lloyd, if he gave us a little bit more in production, he'd be more up here. I think if I felt like the NFL draft liked him a little bit more, he'd be more up here. I just don't think so. I think if Braelon Allen had a better 2023, he'd be more up here, but he didn't. Bucky Irving, if he was a little bit thicker in the pants, I think he'd be up here. If he weighs in lower at the combine than what's listed, he'll probably be down here with these guys. And this is just a weird running back class. You got to keep your mind open with these running backs. You got to look at fits. You got to look at schemes. You got to look at all that. But you got to know their traits. You got to know where they excel at. Let me know what you think in comments below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. I want to thank you for watching, though. Catch you on the next video.